Hello and welcome to Thursday. Now, today was supposed to be a very different video up until about an hour and a half ago. It is currently 11:30 Eastern as I'm recording this, and well, at 10 o'clock p.m., we got some news. Toriyama passed. For those who don't know, and I'm pretty sure everyone should know, Akira Toriyama, is the creator of probably the most iconic manga anime series of all time. That'd be Dragon Ball Z. And unfortunately, he passed away on the 1st of this month, and the news just broke an hour and a half ago. And for what I've been seeing online and what I've been discussing with friends and just talking about with people, everybody is super torn up about it. I think it's the most quote-unquote celebrity death has affected me ever. And this is just like, wow. When people say it's like, oh, this person has been a part of my childhood and like, they've impacted my life to a great deal. I never really understood that up until, I guess, just now. And even so, I'm not as torn up as a lot of people definitely are. But Dragon Ball has been a huge part of my life for decades. Ever since I was a little kid. The two things that really have dominated my life would be Pokemon and Dragon Ball. At least Japanese entertainment-wise. Pokemon, like we've talked about here countless times, but we haven't really talked about Dragon Ball too much. I don't think we've ever really spent time talking about it because, it's... there wasn't really too much to talk about, right? It's the most iconic animated television show of all time. Second to, it's like, yeah, it's the most iconic. Everybody knows Dragon Ball Z. Nobody does not know. It's the most important animation of all time. And for me growing up, there are so many games that my brother and my cousins and I played just Dragon Ball Z games growing up. The entire Budokai series. We don't have Budokai 1, which was given away to a friend. Might need to go find a copy of that and pick that up before that price skyrockets. Probably already has. Yeah, Budokai, these games were our childhood. Actually, I don't think we need to because we actually have the PS3 version, which is right here. Budokai 1 and 3, and then Ultimate Tenkaichi for PS3. I accidentally picked up Devil May Cry, so that's gonna sit over there. And more recently, PS4 games that I have, Dragon Ball, Fighter Z, Kakarot. Toriyama is responsible for Dragon Quest series. Chrono Trigger, one of the most iconic SNES games of all time. He's responsible for Dragon Quest. Blue Dragon is another one. It's a franchise that has quite literally dominated my life since I was a very little kid. Everybody would, you'd see people doing, Kamehameha or, Hadoukens or whatever at the playground. Everybody knows, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and everyone, Goku is a household name, and that's something that cannot be said for literally any other animated franchise. The only thing that I can really think of would be a superhero comics like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, and I guess more recently the Avengers kind of became household names within the last decade and a half or so. But it's insane to me how incredible of a franchise Dragon Ball is. It has been a part of my life for a long time and will continue to be a part of my life for a very long time. Um, again, I've like pretty much every day as a kid, these games are being played as after school. Like me and my brother would be as soon as we are done with homework or whatever, boot up the PS2, start playing Dragon Ball Z, just fighting each other in those games. And when we had cousins or family over, or friends, Dragon Ball Z game. It's a fighting game. Everybody enjoyed it. Everybody loved it. And it's like the GBA games, Legacy Goku 2, Legacy Boost Fury. Uh, we were playing. It was like Taiketsu or some like horrible fighting game for the GBA that that was being played. Like we were playing that like 2 months ago, like back in December. Um, we were playing like the DS game. There's so many good GBA and like DS games and 3DS games. I remember what is it? It's uh fusions. Like there's so many sagas is a horrible game, but like the memories that you create with these, it's heartbreaking. Like everybody I know is just messed up over this, and it's just like what an influence somebody can have who literally changed the way, who influenced so many manga, anime. Like I saw the creator of One Piece is torn up over it too. Like, without Dragon Ball, we would not have the incredible series that we have today. We would not have so much entertainment. Like, the story that Dragon Ball tells is incredible, and like I could go on and on about it and talk about how important it is to me, but I don't I will not be able to do it justice, and I don't think anybody will be able to really do it justice. And that's kind of incredible. No one will, no one can really say that they've created a character other than the Pokemon franchise, and maybe you know you, no manga creator can say that they created a household name. Literally everybody knows who Goku is. Everybody knows at least something about Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Super, whatever, what have you. It is one of the most iconic, pieces of entertainment to ever exist. One of the most influential, one of the most important. And Toriyama is, a masterful artist. Like I said, Chrono Trigger, Dragon Quest, iconic character designs that will persist through decades as they already have. Chrono Trigger, one of the greatest NES games of all time, or SNES, and they were talking about remaking it very recently, and that's going to be a whole thing now that Toriyama has passed. Dragon Ball will continue on. Like, the most recent movie was so incredible. Gohan, what is it? It's like Dragon Ball Superhero. It's some weird name, but it's even as it was coming out, my cousins and I, my brother, and we were all being okay, we gotta see this. It's we were hyping it up. Everything about it was just oh, this is such an important show. This is such an important franchise. We've seen pretty much everything there is to see. I reminiscing, in my early teenage years, I was watching the original Dragon Ball, and some website that's dedicated to just Dragon Ball. It was watch Dragon Ball on this site, watch Naruto on our sister site, or whatever, watch Dragon Ball Z on our sister site. Some of those sketchy anime sites that probably no longer exist, and just watching that as a kid, or watching GT as it was airing, or even Z as was airing on Toonami, watching Kai as like it was coming out too. Um, yeah, it's just a very important show and franchise, and I can't and won't be able to do it justice. And at this point, I feel like I'm just rambling. It's like yeah, like I said previously, I've never really been like too choked up about a celebrity death, and even this will pass. You know, like in the morning, things will feel, you know, kind of meh, but like nothing really, like it won't shake me too much. But like I understand now. It's just like, whew, this is a lot. It's heavy and it's unfortunate, but you know, life happens and we got to make the most of it. And Toriyama, well, he's living it up in on King Kai's planet. Hopefully, maybe somewhere else. Maybe he's kicking it with the with some angels, Beerus, or hanging out with some gods of destruction. Just chilling with what was it, Zeno? I can't remember the his name, but you know, hopefully Yama has done him well, and hopefully the man retains his soul in his corporeal form. Okay, yeah. It's a lot, but I'm eternally grateful for what Dragon Ball has done for my life, what Toriyama has done for me, the incredible stories this man has told, the artwork, just everything is wonderful. And you know, like before I even started recording this, I quickly watched the first episode of Dragon Ball Z, and whew, it's heartbreaking to see. You see Gohan as a child, you see Goku now grown up 5 years after the events of Dragon Ball, and Chi Chi, and seeing what's going to happen, like knowing the entire story. I don't think I've watched Z in its entirety, but I think I might start doing that now. Knowing the entire story and just like, oh man, it's a lot. It's intense, and seeing where these characters end up. We got Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo, I think is the proper terminology. Whew. I can't really say much else. I mean, I can. It's going to be very rambly, and this video's gone on long enough, and whew. I think that's where we should call it for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you tomorrow. And until then, later.